It's been hard because there's no pattern to follow, but we have figured out that these guys don't use the roads, they use the bush paths. So basically on our side we've improvised by putting guys not in vehicles but in these bush paths at night, and we've now come close twice where there's been a robbery. We went to the area where they're in, we could hear muffles and dogs barking further away, and then basically we're on their track. They only want the firearms, the jewellery and the money. And the funny thing is, on every crime scene thereafter, the firearms that these guys have taken, they're back to having their old revolver back with them. So that tells us there's a market for these places, these people operating for somebody to supply some people.
And then doing some research, the guys are saying, well, geez, every week there seems to be an incident. And when we look at the stats, 2 years down the line, you're looking at 65 reported cases of home invasions. You know, we're not talking about a house breaking, we're talking about a physical contact, home invasion, guys moving into your space with a crowbar or a spade, guns recently as well. And it was quite alarming. So we quite quickly realized that we can either sit back and wait to be a statistic, or we could take the fight to the poops, essentially. We realized as well that you can only have so many feet on the ground. It's an unfair expectation on the SFS or the on response guys to try and catch these guys on their own. And so a lot of the residents have dug really, really deep, put their hands in their pockets and put in cameras and some very sophisticated cameras. You know, license plate recognition. If a vehicle moves into an area, every plate is registered in a database. We know exactly who's come in and who's left, time in, time out. So I touch wood at this stage that we haven't had any incidents in the last little while. We're not naive to the fact that there's a possibility they'll come back, but right now we're safe and sound, knowing that we have some mechanisms in place to protect ourselves.
And then all of a sudden she heard a noise, and that the door was vibrating on the outside of the backyard, and then the next thing was there's 5 guys standing next to her and pointed a gun at her and asked, "Where's your parents?" And then she was frozen, obviously, and she pointed with her finger to the bedroom door. And then 3 of them walked in the bedroom and they woke me up. So I was actually asleep while they came, and I woke up while they pulled the blanket away. But then I heard immediately the alarm going. It was actually to thank to my daughter. She was reacting actually very fast, and as one of the guys what stayed behind, not coming to the bedroom, directed her to go out with him. And she went to the door, and then she turned around and she ran to the kitchen and she pushed the button. So
how old is your daughter?
She was 12 at the time. I was running through the house because I was more concerned about my child, where she is. She obviously ran out of the house and hid in the bush. And the thing is, I saw there was light in my oldest daughter's room. She's not at home, she's in Cape Town. And the thing is, when I came out, this guy with the gun was actually standing in front of me and pointed the gun at me and asked me for my earrings and where money is. And then he tried to hit me with the gun, and the thing is, and then a shot went, and went in the ceiling. Yeah, and the thing is, then I was nervous, so then I took my earrings off, and when I felt like the blood was running down, he actually grazed me and gave me a graze on the head.
Through our crime pattern analysis and the crime track analysis, we have identified how do these guys do these robberies on these small holdings. That is between 2 or 6 suspects, and what they do, because they do not want to be arrested, they wear balaclavas, try to hide themselves, and where every crime scene, in fact, we did call out the fingerprints, LCRC, and also tried to get some DNA as well, and those are the results that we are also looking forward so that we can be able to link them. They of course look for the safe, firearms, obviously, the money, and the cell phones and other things, what they will try to get out of those the robberies. And we had one or two where the shots were fired, where one person was injured. And what worries us is the fact that maybe it's a success in terms of the arrests, you know, because if suspects are not arrested, criminals will come back to a particular area. But as the police, we must say that we are really enjoying the relationship with the community, either Farmcom, private security companies, and the community. They've been really being supportive, and I think it is because of this relationship that makes things to be much easier and lesser, you know, as to compared to in the areas where there was not going to be this kind of a relationship. We really appreciate it.